We're here with Saurabh Bhatia, co-founder and chief business officer of Vdopia. You just got off the stage at the IAB Mobile Marketplace talking about a campaign you did for Universal Pictures. How did your campaign capitalize on local mobile social?
Okay, so this was the campaign for the movie Fast 5, which recently released in the month of April. And when Universal approached us, they wanted to target Hispanic audience for this particular campaign because of the simple fact that they had an insight that that is one of the core audience group which is interested in this particular movie series. So they approached us and they said that how can you help us reach this audience? And what we did was we went back and we did our research, and some of the results that we got were absolutely amazing, and which actually helped us driving the mobile strategy for these guys. One of the results was that Hispanic as an ethnic community is one community that surpasses the general population in terms of not just the mobile phone adoption but also smartphone adoption. In fact, amongst the audience group which is less than 35 years or younger, Hispanic audience has 61% mobile penetration, whereas general population has 37. And within that audience group itself, Hispanic has 45% of smartphone penetration, whereas general population is in 33%. Not just that, there was one amazing insight which we observed, and even I was pleasantly surprised that in fact for Hispanic, 37% of that of Hispanic community which have smartphone or mobile phone, they actually use that device as their primary device for accessing internet, whereas that data for general population is 17%.
So one of my questions was going to be, is Hispanic mobile use maybe, the top tier way to target them? I mean, is it eclipsing the PC?
In fact, that's actually what the trends are showing, because if 37% of the audience, this is the primary device for accessing web, then if I'm a brand, I would actually want to target this device for using this community. In fact, there is one more interesting stat which shows that the penetration of smartphone is higher in the Hispanic community versus the general population. And if you take the same stat for the PC side, it's actually low. So which means if this is the community that you want to reach out to, mobile is your number one option. It's your number one screen.
So how do you go about that? Without cookies, how are you targeting, without cookies in the app environment, how are you targeting the Hispanic community and knowing that you're reaching them?
Okay, so in fact, we have a couple of ways in which we actually target the Hispanic community. First and foremost is that what we have done is we have internally developed, also using third-party sources like ComScore, an internal study, a fairly exhaustive database of sites that are Spanish language only. That's the primary targeting group. The second group is we have actually done our research and find out what are the key activities that Hispanic group is interested in. What kind of games Hispanic group want to play, or what kind of sports that this ethnic group is interested in. What are the top 3 activities that they're actually doing on mobile? Once we have that layer on top of the primary contextual data that we get for ComScore, we actually have a fairly robust mechanism towards reaching out to this audience. And in addition to that, as a company, we are working on behavioral targeting aspects, whereby we layered on all the campaigns that we have done in the past. We layer the learning that we have had and apply that in the campaigns that we do present or in future.
Oh, great. So the targeting is actually can be applied to any demographic, is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
And when you were doing the research about the Hispanic market's use of mobile, what were you finding are some of the key ways that they're using it that might be, particular to their demographic versus, say, a mom who is cutting coupons with their phone?
Okay. So I think with Hispanic, there were 4 key activities that we found, and some of them may be common with regards to other demographic group, but we have internally an index of at least, I think, 15 activities which we kind of target and identify. Out of them, for Hispanic, number 1 was watching videos is pretty big and important for them. Second thing is accessing mobile web for primary usage, which is like news and information. The third one is gaming, and the fourth one is music. So these are the 4 key activities.
And video was very integral to it, I believe, what you did for Universal Pictures. How did their behavior with, wanting to see the video, and how long did they watch the video?
Right. In fact, one interesting stat that we had was that Hispanic community, because they are interested in watching videos, what we made sure was that the primary component of the campaign itself is video. And for a 15-second average video trailer time, the consumption rate was 13.6 seconds, which is almost touching 90%, and it's really phenomenal. And what it also brings us an interesting stat, which is obviously forgotten, is that when you are actually using video and you have 13.6 second, which is all time of the audience, you have actually communicated a lot of your message when you compare that of a static banner where the average view time is 0.1 to 0.5 seconds.
Oh wow, great. What advice would you give other marketers who are looking to do a similar campaign? What did you learn from this that you would want to tell them about?
Okay. I would sum up in 3 things. First and foremost is know your audience, which means that today mobile has evolved to a level that you can actually use some key insights and you can actually take decision on the basis of that. For example, in case of Hispanic, we found out that unlike general population, Android is 38% market share versus iPhone, which is 21%. So it was important for us to target Android devices, and which is surprisingly for this ethnic group versus some of the other audience demographic. The second one is make sure that you integrate social media within your campaigns, which means that if you are running a campaign, whether it's video or whether it's rich media, if you have social media elements integrated, then you can really have a viral effect. And without social media as being part of your campaign, you're really missing on a key aspect. The third key thing which we learned was that video is the #1 activity that the users are most likely to engage with on the device. And for a simple reason, this is a small device, and the regular banner is kind of small because of small size. It's difficult for user to see what the message is and to make a brand impact. Whereas in case of video, they feel more comfortable on this device. And therefore, these are the key 3 things that I would like to share. Know your audience, use video, and use social media.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you.